What's up? My name's KELGORE and you're watching Owned.
Guess what? You're paying $1,300, $1,400, $1,500 a month on rent. You're not getting any taxable benefits. You're not building any equity. All you're doing is paying my Ferrari payment.
Which is it? Hello, my name's KELGORE. Welcome back to the Own series, where I own the owning class. I know that the first video in this series was about landlords, and then I did one on mompreneurs, and I am going to cover different groups of people, but this video is also about landlords. But a very specific type of landlord. In fact, it's just one guy. It's terrible, though. Even if you don't agree with me that all landlords are bad, this guy definitely is. Before we get into it, just a quick announcement. I started a Patreon. Oh my gosh. Okay. I really am excited to keep growing this channel, and until I start getting literally more than a couple dollars a week from ad revenue, I need some support, and I really appreciate it. I'm just doing the one $3 tier. If you can afford to support me, I really appreciate it. If you can't, please do not feel even a twinge of guilt. I know that I attract a lot of working class people or people who might be in tough financial situations to my videos because we have cathartic rage about rich people here. So anyways, if you can, the link is in the description. Thank you for just watching my videos and commenting on them and everything. I really appreciate you guys. Okay, end of spiel. So a couple days ago, this user posted this video on TikTok. Let's call him Tom Cruise, because his name is Tom Cruise. So Tom Cruise posted this video.
Tell me you live in America without telling me you live in America.
I'm going to show you the beauty of America in less than 30 seconds. Let's get it. Only in America can I buy this house for $80,000, get a $360 mortgage with a conventional loan backed by the federal government, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, USDA loans. And then I'm going to turn around and rent it for $1,300 to Section 8, which is a federally backed program. So not only is the federal government backing the loan that I'm using to buy this property, they're then turning around and paying me with federal funds to rent the property for Section 8. And I keep the difference. It's called Section 8 arbitrage. It's probably the best way you can make money in rental properties. Highly recommend.
Now, this certainly was not this man's first awful TikTok.
So you're going to a party with your friends, boom, he gets blackout drunk. And you got to get home, and you got to get his car home, and he's got a Ferrari or a Lamborghini, and you're like, fuck, I've never driven one. Well, this is how you drive.
But it was the first in a series about how you can take advantage of Section 8 housing laws. So let's go over that video one more time.
I'm going to show you the beauty of America in less than 30 seconds. Let's get it.
So first of all, with a big shit-eating grin on his face, he says, let me show you the beauty of America. The beauty for who, bro? You're literally talking about low-income people that are so poor, they can't afford to pay you rent. And you're talking about how it's beautiful.
Only in America can I buy this house for $80,000, get a $360 mortgage with a conventional loan backed by the federal government, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, USDA loans.
First of all, I have no idea what's going on in the background of this guy's video. It sounds like someone's just ripping farts back there. I'm not an expert in property ownership or the laws surrounding it or anything, but this part's weird to me because he says he'll just get a $360 a month mortgage with a conventional loan backed by the federal government, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, etc. The thing is, conventional loans are easier for people with higher credit and all that to get, but the federally backed ones are usually for first-time home buyers or people that might not have a lot of startup capital or something, but there's more restrictions on them, like that you might not be able to rent that property out. It has to be your main residence, stuff like that. But the comment section seems to agree with me that it's did you mean conventional loan or did you mean federally backed loan? Because those are usually two different things, but whatever. Anyways, let's get to the good stuff though, because that's just some boring stuff.
And then I'm going to turn around and rent it for $1,300 to Section 8, which is a federally backed program.
Okay, so right there, he's admitting that this house will cost him $360 a month in mortgage plus the taxes and maintenance, but he's going to charge $1,300. Gee whiz, I wonder where inflation comes from. Okay, so what is Section 8 and what are these vouchers? Section 8 allows landlords to rent private properties as opposed to government housing, rent private properties to low-income tenants at fair market value, but the rent is subsidized by the U.S. government. It can vary from state to state, so I'm kind of generalizing here, but let's just say a 2-bedroom apartment at fair market value is $1,000 a month. And some low-income family qualifies for it. Their income is $2,000 a month. The government says they should not pay more than 30% of their income to rent. Otherwise, they would be seen as severely rent burdened, which is not a good thing. So they do the math. They say that's $600 a month. So basically, on this $1,000 rental, the tenant pays $600 a month, and then the federal government pays the landlord the other $400 to make up the difference. This is one of those moments where you realize landlords who love to talk about risk and all the hardships they incur basically can't lose. They can't lose. Like, the system always ends up working in their favor. Like, oh, is there a global pandemic? That sure is going to make it hard for people to go to work, and in turn, that's going to make it hard for people to pay their rent. I know, we'll just use government money to pay back the landlords so that they don't lose out on any income even for a second. All for doing absolutely nothing. Oh, what? Pay the people instead? Oh dear, oh no, yucky, that would be doing a socialism. Okay, we are 13 seconds into this fucking TikTok and I'm so mad.
So not only is the federal government backing the loan that I'm using to buy this property, they're then turning around and paying me with federal funds to rent the property for Section 8. And I keep the difference. It's called Section 8 arbitrage. Probably the best way you can make money in rental properties. Highly recommend.
By the way, arbitrage basically just means you buy something in one market and then sell it in another market. So you're basically taking advantage of a crisis usually. Like, he could take advantage of low market rates or low interest rates and then turn around and also take advantage of a super high rental market right now, or take advantage of government subsidies, which he is just admitting to. So that was just the first video he posted. You'll notice the little thing above his head says, join the pro Discord, because he's selling courses too. Because of course he's selling courses. We love when they sell courses. Okay, so the next video. This one says at the top, someone commented, Section 8 is a great way to get your home destroyed. And it says, I love TikTok hypocrites.
These comments just crack me up because there's so many social justice warrior clowns on TikTok, and everybody wants free healthcare, cancel student loans, free education, increase minimum wage, free food, free water, free Xboxes, free PS5s. Everybody wants everything free, but the second the federal or state government provides subsidies and assistance to low-income people that need help, then everyone on the comments is saying that these people are savages and they destroy properties. And
I think the funny part about this is that he's trying to call people out for being hypocrites, right? He's saying they're TikTok hypocrites. Basically, there's some people in his comments that say that they want government funding and stuff, but then they turn around and call the people who benefit from government programs savages, they'll wreck your house. But I don't think what he understands is that those are two different groups of people commenting on his video. It's not like TikTok is a hive mind that agrees about everything. There's several different people on the app. It's not one person commenting both things. Anyway, sorry, I thought that was just kind of funny.
which is totally not true. It's just complete ignorance from a bunch of clowns that just really doesn't understand. And they more than likely have never owned an asset to begin with. They just like to spat off things they've heard online or, other places they may have read it. But the reality is, if you screen a Section 8 tenant like a private tenant, check for evictions, background, credit, and make sure that they're a decent person, the probability of them wrecking your unit and losing their assistance is very low. So educate yourself before you sound stupid online.
Obviously, I've never rented to anyone, but I'm sure with anything, there's good tenants and bad tenants, right? It just seemed like a weird opportunity for him to come out and have a gotcha moment. But if you read the comments, it's mostly people calling him a dirtbag. The thing is, I'm glad that the government is out here providing rental assistance. The thing is, it'd be a lot better if they just stopped people like him from hoarding houses in the first place. So this one, the comment says, yeah, Section 8 is not paying you $1,300 for that man.
Oh, these are my favorite comments because it just proves that most people don't know what they're talking about, and they're also easily disprovable. So let's get it. Here's a recent notice from the Wilmington Housing Authority for an annual re-examination of rent. In this case, a 3-bedroom is going for $1,500 in New Hanover County, signed by the housing specialist. I probably shouldn't be sharing this information because most people are pretty ignorant to it and it just causes other landlords to make a ton of money. But for example, if a 3-bedroom unit fair market private rent is $1,000 a month, and let's say there's 300 outstanding vouchers on the street, as they call it, for Section 8, there's a ton of tenants looking for housing, but they can't find any because either landlords have this preconceived notion and they don't want to rent to Section 8. So what does Section 8 force to do? That $1,000 unit will now get approved or accepted for $1,300, $1,400. That's a 3-bedroom in Wilmington. That should go only for $1,300 a month. They approved it at $1,500 a month for a unit that I might have paid $85,000 for 2 years ago. That's how you get rich, rich.
That's how you get rich, rich. So first of all, he uses air quotes around the term fair market value. He seems to understand that other landlords are also just driving up the prices all over the place. But none of these other landlords accept the vouchers that he accepts. So the landlords who do accept them can get even more money from the government than they originally thought, which in turn will drive up the prices of other Section 8 housing nearby. So this man is truly playing the game. He's shamelessly taking the inflated value and the vouchers from the government. And in his mind, he thinks he's providing homes. He truly believes that he's a good person. But maybe there is a little bit of shame because here comes this next video. It says, "True slumlord right here."
Paul. Let me explain this in a little bit more layman's terms for you. You might be a little bit more simple and not understand these concepts, but I'm not a slumlord.
Super condescending right off the bat.
Most of my properties are Section 8. Section 8 do have annual inspections. They have federally mandated regulations to check for sanitation and health and safety, and they do this every single year in almost all of my 400 properties.
Yep. He owns 400 of them, and I'm assuming they're all Section 8 or close to it. So the federal government is paying rent to this guy on 400 properties. No man needs 400 properties. 400 people need 400 properties. You get what I mean? And who cares if they get inspections? He's saying they get inspections by the way, I looked it up, and the inspections are making sure the water is running and that there are smoke alarms and stuff.
So, and it also, even if they didn't have inspections, it wouldn't behoove me to become a slumlord. Letting go of expensive components in the property and not taking care of it just becomes more expensive for me. Also, tenants become unhappy, they leave, which creates turnover. Turnovers are expensive for me. We also do our own biannual inspections. I have my own property management team that goes to all of our properties twice a year, in addition to the one inspection that the Section 8 inspector does.
So just in case you missed it, he also uses a property management team. So he isn't even working. He outsources all of the cleaning, all these inspections, all of this paperwork, showing the properties. He outsources all of that to hourly workers. I've known some people in property management. It's a shitty fucking job. Meanwhile, he's just collecting these houses and letting other people do the work of maintaining and renting them. All the while, he's letting the government subsidize the high rental prices that are inflated by guys like himself. But he does not want you to call him a slumlord.
So there's no benefit to being a slumlord. You've never been in any of my houses, so you have no idea what you're talking about. But at least now, when you speak about it in the future, you won't be as ignorant.
He gets to call you ignorant if you call him a slumlord, right? And he gets to educate you. It's dude, just own it. Just own it. Someone says, "Why do you keep expanding? Aren't there shortages of houses?"
This is actually a really good question. Yes, we are expanding just within our own county. I'm not buying outside of my county. Right now, I'm buying anywhere from 10 to 15 Section 8 houses every month. Trying to target at least 100 a year is the plan right now in order to kind of stay on my track to get to 1,000 units before I turn 40. The other thing also to keep in mind is we're buying most of these off market. All these clowns that are asking for $100,000 over appraised value on Realtor.com and Zillow. We don't deal with that. We don't buy retail. We're buying from wholesalers. We're buying from referrals. We have a lot of people that have grandparents in these multi-generational houses, and they don't want the properties anymore. They want to dump them. They don't want to deal with appraisers and open houses and all this other crap. So we just write them a check, close in 5 days, do the title work with the attorney, and we're able to buy a lot of houses that way. So that's kind of our strategy right now.
He wants to own 1,000 houses by the time he's 40. I don't even have a ton to say about this video other than like just to point out this process. He's saying they don't even buy like houses off of Zillow and stuff. They buy houses that never even go onto the market. They're just off-market housing. They buy them like in bulk, basically. The only thing I have to say about this is that he's essentially admitting that when you have startup capital, when you have wealth, you can not only get houses cheaper, but also faster and in mass. And it's like, it's literally privilege. But he doesn't want to acknowledge his privilege. He wants to like flaunt it, and he wants to teach you how to have the privilege, but he doesn't want to like say the words. You're a slumlord, say it. Also notice that he keeps flashing this little thing like learn how to do this in the Discord by joining. Just keep that in mind. Okay, so this one says you can't get an FHA, that's the federally backed, you can't get the FHA loan without agreeing to live inside the home for 12 months. Tell people the truth.
Oh my God, you people can't read between the lines. Listen, I only have 60 seconds with green screen videos. I can't explain every intricacy of every FHA loan product. Yes, you have to live in it for a year, but plot twist, if you buy a quad or a triplex, you can live in one and rent the other 3 out to Section 8. And also, yes, conventional loans for the most part are conforming to Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac standards, meaning guess what? If you buy a property and you rent it out as an investment property, that loan is probably going to get sold to Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, which is federally backed. So if you put a Section 8 tenant in that quadplex and you have 3 Section 8 tenants paying you rent, then you're getting federal money and you have a federally backed loan. I hope this explains it to people. Even if you buy an FHA property and you live in it for a year, guess what?
Guess what?
You can then rent it to Section 8 after a year, or who knows, you might have a life change or a circumstance and you have to move out. Rent it out. God bless.
Okay, so he sort of tries to explain it, but really all you need to know is that he's saying there are regulations on these loans and other products, but that they aren't regulated well enough for it to matter. That you could just get around the regulations. Like, he probably says that all of these are his primary residence so that he can get these like better loans, these like whatever FHA, and then he writes some kind of letter saying he has to move out after like 24 hours or something. It's all bullshit, and he can afford the lawyers and property managers to do all this like paperwork and stuff for him, all this little like legal stuff. And also, I just would like to point out the fact that all of this like federal money being thrown around really seems like big government to me. But I'm sure he isn't one of these like small government tech bro creeps or anything. I'm sure he's like happy to pay his taxes.
Okay, everyone's always complaining that the rich are getting richer and we don't pay any taxes, and this is exactly how you do it with real estate.
So in this one, this person said, it's because of big fish like this guy screwing the little guy. And of course, he has his big thing on here that says join the pro Discord. So let's see what he has to say in defense of himself for being a big fish screwing the little guy.
I love a good victim mentality in the comment thread because we know victimhood historically has gotten people super far. But listen, here's the deal. If there's a property on the market, let's say for $100,000, and it's on MLS, Zillow, Realtor.com, us, big fish, and other larger investors or institutional investors, we don't want that. We don't want the properties the general public and the unwashed masses are going out there and spending.
So let me get this straight. This guy wants to go around calling regular people the unwashed masses. But he also seems pretty hurt whenever people call him terms like slumlord or say he's screwing over the little guy. Like he has to defend himself. Do you want to seem virtuous or do you want to seem like this hard-ass investor guy? Like, pick one. Pick one.
$50,000, $100,000 over appraised value for. We're buying properties off market. You see those signs that say we buy houses? That's us. That's us buying those properties or buying from wholesalers like those people that are selling us those houses. We're going and we're driving for dollars. We're doing Facebook ads for we buy houses. We have no competition with the retail buyer that loves to overextend themselves and pay hundreds of thousands in appraisal gaps and get stuck with properties that are going to be worth less in 5 years. So don't worry about us. Don't blame us for your failures.
Okay, so he buys houses wholesale, and that somehow is not taking affordable housing away from the little guy. Then he starts doing these videos about how he can do hourly coaching to teach others how to do this. Then he posts this video saying he booked 100 of these $500 calls within like a day, right? He woke up the next day and he had 100 of these calls booked, and he shows this like $50,000 PayPal transaction. So assuming this is real, this dude is for some reason just trying to make more money off of this. But I don't really get it, because it seems like it's like if you're so rich, and like you even said, rich, and why would you want other people doing this? Because you just told us that fewer Section 8 landlords drive your prices up. So it just kind of seems weird. It seems like somewhere in here there's a scam, but I can't even tell which part it is. Also, it just seems really, really stupid to like post online that you're like not following regulations. Not that there's ever any fucking consequences for people like this, so. And for our last video, which he posted just a few days ago, and he hasn't posted since, we have this.
What is the biggest waste of money?
Renting a house, by far and away the biggest waste of money. Guys, do not continue to pay rent every single month and make assholes like me rich. There's really no reason for it. People love to say, oh yeah, well if you don't rent, then you got tied with all these maintenance and insurance and taxes. So what? Guess what? You're paying $1,300, $1,400, $1,500 a month on rent. You're not getting any taxable benefits. You're not building any equity. All you're doing is paying my Ferrari payment. Please stop leasing properties. There's so many other creative ways of having home ownership with low credit and low cash. Join the Pro Discord and learn why and how.
Like, what the fuck do you want? Which is it? Which is it? So this video is already way too long. I'm pretty much done. I just want to say, if you have any issues with what I've said in this video, be sure to comment them down below. But I probably answered at least one of your questions in my first landlord video. So first, go watch my other one. I'll put it right here in the corner. Go watch that video. Then come rewatch this video, make sure I didn't answer your question, then comment down below. Tom Cruise, if you're watching this, I have some advice for you. Stop worrying about what poor people like me think of you. Stop caring what your commenters say. Just own it. You are clearly a dirtbag who is profiting off of the basic human needs of others in a big way. It's like your whole personality. So just lean in and stop getting butthurt every time someone says that you are taking advantage of the little guy, or calls you the slumlord slur, or says you're taking advantage of a housing crisis. You're also super wealthy and you're making big Discord money and PayPal money and government subsidy money. So just stop whining when other people don't like the fact that you are hoarding properties and creating inflation. You fucking are. Shut up, get off TikTok, and suck my butt.